This is the reminder move for ATM, chopping wood, or the Praying Mantis. Please lie on your back with both of your arms on either side of your body and gently scan yourself for the spaces in which your body lifts away from the floor or where your body presses down into the floor. Now, once you have a good idea of what type of contact you have with the ground, would you please bend your knees and have your feet flat? Place both of your hands in front of your face as if you're kind of clapping your hands together and interlace your fingers. So you'll keep your hands in front of your face with about a 90-degree bend in your elbow. And don't let your hands fall down or rise up to the ceiling. And would you please begin bringing your elbows closer together and apart? And as you bring your elbows close together and apart, don't straighten your arms. Keep your elbows bent and in front of your face. And just notice where your limitations are. Is it in your chest, in your shoulders, the front of your shoulders or the back of your shoulders, your arms? And what prevents the movement from being easy in you? And then leave this alone, lie on your back and rest. Now, would you come back into the same position with both of your fingers interlaced in front of your face, and bring your right elbow in towards the middle and back out. So just your right elbow, in and out. And then leave the right elbow alone and do the same thing with your left. And then leave this and lie on your back. Now, would you please roll onto your left side, interlace your fingers, and put your left arm on the floor. So it's the same position that you're in when you're on your back, it's just you've changed the convention of your contact with the ground. Bend your knees to 90 degrees, make yourself comfortable. If you need a mat or a pillow, you can put something under the side of your head. And then begin to take your right elbow away from your left and up to the ceiling. So you're lifting your right elbow up and then letting it come back down. Lifting your right elbow up and allowing it to come back down. Now keep going, but keep the contact with your whole left arm, the back of your left forearm, your wrist, your hand on the ground as you lift your right elbow up and then back down. And then leave this and begin to turn your head up to the ceiling and then back. Turn your head up to the ceiling and then come back. And then lift your right elbow up as you turn your head towards the ceiling and then come back down to the ground. Now leave your elbow alone, your right elbow, and then begin to turn your head to the left, down into the ground, and then back. Down into the ground, and then back. Now keep your head turned down to the left, and then begin to gently lift your elbow up to the ceiling, and then come down. Head stays left as you lift your elbow up and then come back down. And now go back to turning your head to the right as you lift your right elbow up to the ceiling. Elbow goes up, your right head turns to the right, and then come back down. And then lastly, leave your elbow up towards the ceiling, and then turn your head to the left, and come back to neutral. Just your head to the left, and back to neutral. And then leave this alone, lie on your back and rest. Now come back to that same position with your fingers interlaced in front of your face. And begin bringing your elbows closer together and then apart. And in that first few movements, in the first bit of the movement, is it easier than it was before? Now, instead of taking your elbows apart, begin to take your hands apart. So your elbows stay together and your hands move apart, and then come back. Hands apart, and then come back. And then leave this alone and roll onto your right side. Interlace your fingers and put your right arm on the floor. Again, it's the same position as when you're on your back. The contact of your right forearm, the back of your wrist, and your hand stays with the ground. And then begin to take your left elbow away from your right and up to the ceiling. And then come back. Lift your left elbow up and then come back down. And then leave your elbow alone and turn your head up towards the ceiling and come back. Just turn your head up and then turn your head back. Now turn your head up towards the ceiling and then keep it there. And then gently lift your elbow up to the ceiling and then back down. Elbow up and then back down. Now, as you're laying on your side, turn your head to the right as you lift your left elbow up. So head to the right, elbow up. Head to the right, elbow up. And then lastly, leave your elbow up towards the ceiling. Turn your head to the right. And then come back and leave this alone and let yourself rest. Now again, bend your knees, have your feet flat on the floor. Place your hands in front of your face as if your hands are clapping together. Interlace your fingers. Keep your hands in front of your face and begin bringing your elbows close together and then apart. And is that easier than it was before? Now the next time you bring your hands together, your elbows together rather, keep your elbows together and don't let them separate. And begin to bring your hands up above your head as if you're swinging an axe up above your head. So elbows together and then up, and then come back down to neutral from where you started. So lift up and then come back. Now don't straighten your arms. Keep your elbows bent in front of your chest and just kind of notice where your limitations are there. What prevents the movement from being easy? Your chest, your shoulders, your ribs, your low back. And then leave this, lie on your back and rest. Now again, roll over onto your right side, interlace your fingers, put your right arm on the floor. Same position as when you're on your back, bend your knees so you're comfortable, and bring your elbows close together. And begin bringing your elbows together and above your head as if you're swinging that axe again. So you're going to slide your arms along the floor, up above your head, and then come back. Slide your arms up above your head, and then come back. Now rest for just a moment, rest in neutral, And then begin swinging your legs behind your pelvis without letting your knees straighten. So you let your belly come forward, you arch your back, swing your legs back, and then bring them back to the front. And then rest for a moment. And then begin bringing your elbows close together. Don't let them separate. And bring your hands above your head as if you're swinging an axe up above your head. And at the same time, take your legs backwards and behind your pelvis without letting your knees straighten. So you slide your arms back and your legs back, and then come back to neutral. And then leave this alone. Roll over onto your left side and assume the same position. So have your hands in your waist, your knees bent at 90 degrees. If you need a pillow for your head, that's fine. Make yourself comfortable. And begin you bringing your elbows close together. Don't let them separate. And again, start to bring your hands up above your head as if you're swinging an axe backwards. And then rest for a moment. And then begin swinging your legs behind, letting your belly fall forward, arch your back, without letting your knees straighten. And then rest for a moment. And now bring your elbows close together, don't let them separate, and bring your hands above your head as if you're swinging an axe, and bring your legs backwards. Now leave this alone. Roll over onto your back, bend your knees, and have your feet flat on the floor. Place your hands in front of your face as if you're clapping. Interlace your fingers. And then begin to bring your elbows close and then apart. And just notice what's changed for you. Could be something simple like your breathing is easier, your ribs feel softer, better contact with the ground. Easier movement in your shoulders, less tension in your hands. Your fingers might feel like they bend easier, your wrist bends easier. This is a great lesson for learning how to improve the flexibility of your whole entire spine, but especially the area in between your shoulder blades. So it's a fantastic lesson. Enjoy it. Let me know what you think, and please leave me some comments down below. Take care. Have a great night.